This is my voice 8 weeks on tea. And 8 weeks. I've been doing this for 8 weeks. I was just thinking about how grateful I am that I've been kind of video journaling through this process because there have been changes. And week to week, it's nice to be able to track what those changes are. And just see how things are progressing. So some of the changes, I don't know why my voice is so weird right now. Some of the changes that I have been noticing this particular week are changes in my skin texture. Like my face skin texture is not as soft and smooth. It's got a little bit more texture to it. Same with my arms. And I was, I had my partner lying on my chest last week or so. And they kind of just offhandedly looked at me and were like, "Oh, your chest isn't as soft as it used to be." And, it wasn't meant to be, I think, a read or offensive or anything like that, but I was like, oh, I'm not as soft as I used to be. I'm not something about that kind of made me think about loss, right? So when we're changing and we're going through change and we're taking tea and going through a transition, you shift from one thing to another. So that change is normal and that change is also welcome. But, there's sometimes feelings with somebody kind of calling you out and being like, "You're not as blank as you used to be." And it can sting. It can sting a little bit. But one thing that I kind of thought about was within deaf culture and the deaf community, there is a reframing. Instead of talking about hearing loss, shifting the perspective to talk about deaf gain, right? So instead of being "Oh, you've lost this thing, you're not as soft," but what are you gaining? That's actually the more maybe important part, because there's always a cycle of transition. There's things that we're always changing or losing or moving away from, but there's also things that we're gaining. So instead of talking about, in this case, hearing loss, and instead focusing on deaf gain, gaining a culture, gaining a language, gaining communication, gaining community. And in my case, I'm okay, well, I don't, maybe my skin's not as soft as it used to be, but I'm gaining positive mental health because I'm now 8 weeks without depression. I'm gaining gender euphoria, right? I don't feel dysphoric every time I look at the mirror. Right? I don't see a reflection of myself and immediately get repulsed and want to dissociate out of my skin. I've gained this voice. I love that it's getting deeper. I've also gained muscle. Sorry, I didn't mean to flex like that. But muscle, which actually feels really nice. The other day I was just in the kitchen and I was cooking and I was I want to do squats. I don't know why I want to do squats. But I'm maybe that's tea, right? Maybe that's the tea on maybe you're feeling, active and your muscles want blood because they're growing, because you're having a second puberty. So there's a lot of gain. And I'm also, gaining positive memories with my body. Every day that I'm on tea, I'm grateful for the decision that I made. And it took me 35 years to get there. And I wish I had started earlier. I wish I had started, or I knew that I could start young. I wish I was able to be in a, affirming, supportive, trans-inclusive family, but I wasn't. Where these kind of options may have been explored at an earlier age instead of trying to figure out what's wrong with me for most of my life. But that's not my karma, as Lama Rod says. And I'm grateful to be here now. So yeah, 8 weeks on tea. I'm just happy to be alive. It's really a miracle. And what else have I gained? I've gained a flatter chest. I'm just gonna show from the side. The chest used to be a little bit fuller, not huge, but like fuller. And the fact that it is flatter and getting flatter, euphoria. It makes me so happy. So yeah, those are the changes that I've been noticing this week. I'm going to keep sharing, and I hope that they help you. Maybe they help someone you know, or maybe if you were like me and trying to look up videos of what to expect the first couple of weeks on tea before starting, because I was scared. I was super freaking scared of like, what if it doesn't work? What if I feel worse? What if I don't feel better? What if I just feel depressed and ugly like for the rest of my life? And I guess what I'm here to share is like, it was a scary decision, but very much worth it. And I have a lot of privilege in being able to access tea and take tea in my life. So just wanted to share that for folks who are maybe feeling scared as well. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a like, give it a subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I will catch you next week. Thanks for watching. Love you.